I guess, Mr. Stephen Johnston, and you have a law degree.
Yes, I do.
And what's the BS in?
I have a Bachelor of Science in Economics. I went to seminary, and then I have a law degree.
Well, you...
I like to read.
Well, I know. I was just thinking the statistics of that most people only use just a very small portion of their mind, but I think you've probably managed to do more than the average.
I like to read. I have like 5,000
Well,
books.
I don't know if you could hear me a while ago. I was talking to Stephanie that I feel that their first mortgage on their house was really wrong. Are there predatory lenders that don't do best by the folks that are applying for the loan?
What happened is the Federal Reserve created a series of bubbles, and so the prices of houses were going up, and so people got into debt because they could write off the interest, and they figured houses just go up, 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 so they got in too much debt, and then the bubble burst, and so you have to be careful. And but the Bible warns us about going into debt and so forth, and so, you know.
Yeah, well, they're correcting that. The book is called The Tea Party Culture War, and basically it's a clash of worldviews. Right. And you outline 3 or 4 worldviews that are rampant in the nation today. Right. I'm pretty sure that you and I both hold a Christian worldview. Right. How does a mother or grandmother, father, grandfather, how do they try to shape the worldview of these little ones coming up? Because it's scary. It's scary what our kids are thinking and doing. It
really is. And, you know, in my book I have a lot of fancy terms and so forth, but when you get postmodernism and emergent church and New Age and stuff, you don't want to boil, if you want to make it simple, it's do you believe the Bible and do you believe God or do you believe man? And that's basically it. And so it all gets down to, I was listening to you, we were talking before the show, and my mother used to sit me on her knee and read me Bible stories about David and Goliath. She made me, when I got a little older, memorize the first book of John. I didn't even know what it meant. But we need that biblical foundation in our families. And the communists know that. Marx thought that there would be a physical revolution with arms, but the neo-Marxists realized that in America there's not going to be a revolution, but there's a war against the family. And so I have a background in finance and law, but really it's about the family. And it's about mothers teaching their children to believe in God, and that's what it's about. Yeah,
that is really really the bottom line. What's your target audience for this book? It's quite new, Tea Party Culture War.
Well, it really, I addressed it, it sounds a little broad, but really to everyone in the country. Because, and I'm not a political animal, I'm not really that, I haven't been that involved with politics, but this election is a little bit different. I mean, I like Barry Goldwater and I like Reagan and stuff, but this is really big. Because right now our country's balanced about 50-50, depending on the polls you look at, and it could go either way. But if we go, and this is not a racial thing, even though Obama tries to make it a racial thing, it's about, do we believe in godly principles, free enterprise, individual responsibility, or are we going to become a welfare state and a godless state? So this election is the biggest thing in my lifetime, and it's really big.
You deal with the finances in the book, and of course the most important finances is the personal finances to us. And I'll tell you what I found appalling in recent months were statistics on Christians who are in debt up to their... Christians are supposed to be different. They're supposed to live a different lifestyle. And the amazing percentage that do not tithe. So if they're not given to God, they are kind of setting themselves up for a negative financial life.
Well, I hate to get started on that, but I'm kind of old school, and it was a different world when I was growing up. People actually believed in the Bible. When I was going to seminary, I was working at a Bible bookstore, and a lady came in and she says, I'm a Christian, I want a book a Christian book on rearing children that doesn't believe in spanking. And I said, well, you're in the wrong you're in the wrong bookstore. And when you say the word Christians, I mean, President Obama says he's a Christian, but he said that if he saw Abraham going to kill Isaac, he would call 911, and he made fun of the situation, not realizing that on that very location, God the Father would offer his son, and it was a metaphor, a picture. And so when you use the word Christians, people don't seem to take the Bible literally. So if the takeaway of anything I say today, it's that we as a country need to get back to God and our Bible and take it seriously.
Why did you highlight the Tea Party in the title of your book?
Well, what it is there's a man named Larry Kudlow who pits people in debates on television, and he had a person, Rick Santelli and Steve Leisman. Rick Santelli is a student of Adam Smith, Frederick Bastiat, who are Christians. He believes in free enterprise. Steve Leisman is a typical Keynesian economist that, to give you background, John Maynard Keynes, if you don't know, was a homosexual, anti-God, anti-Christian. And so the premise of my book is that people think that the Tea Party is just about limited government. What I believe, it goes deeper, and it's a part of a spiritual battle. It's really a proxy for a battle between good and evil. And so the Tea Party, to me, represents part of this spiritual battle that our whole country is involved with, this spiritual battle.
I've never been to, I don't know that much about the Tea Party except what I've read and all, but I have a sister in California who went to one of their gatherings, and she said it was absolutely wonderful, the people who were there, but this, to me, this is significant. There was not even a gum wrapper left.
That's right.
On the ground.
Right.
Okay, compare that with the Occupy people, that it cost the city of New York, I think almost in the millions, to clean up after these people. That's just kind of an illustration that, that we can understand.
Right. Now, the Tea Party is not a monolithic group. I mean, there's libertarians who believe in legalization of drugs and so forth, but I think all Tea Party people believe in limited government. But I think most, I've been to some Tea Party meetings, and I think most of them are church-going people and so forth. If I could, I'd like to just mention something about Mitt Romney. Now, he's not a classical Tea Party person. He's a Mormon, and we could differ, but on religious issues. But one thing I will say about Mitt Romney, he does believe in family values. He does plan to stop supporting Planned Parenthood and abortions and so forth. And the Mormons normally have a work ethic. They have family values and so forth. And I hope that Mitt Romney will bring a Tea Party person as his vice president slot, maybe a Christian like Marco Rubio, and to balance the ticket. But I'm hoping that in your audience, I hope that some people that are Christians don't say, well, I'm not going to vote for Romney because he's not he doesn't go to my church. But I encourage people to at least vote to the person they feel is at least closest to what we would want as Christians, and do that at least. Yeah,
you know, I always tell them, look at the platform they're standing on, and that's it. And if they promote abortion or gay marriage, they don't get my vote. Those are strong moral issues. What's the connection between politics, theology, and prophecy, as you outlined in your book?
Well, the publisher said, "What are you doing discussing prophecy in a book on the Tea Party?" But my premise of my whole book is that your worldview establishes basically your politics. Okay, your worldview has a beginning and an ending. Where did we come from? You know, Darwin said we started from a simple cell and we evolved into complex. What he didn't know is there's no such thing as a simple cell. A simple cell, as we discovered later after Darwin, is very complex. So you go to these atheists, and if you ask them where did the simple cell came from, oh, it came from maybe from a spaceship from another planet. Duh.